The short answer is yes. If you're watching this video, you probably are addicted to dopamine. But the question is, how addicted are you? Because addiction is a spectrum. It's not black or white, addicted or not addicted. And there are some signs that can help you know if you are addicted or dependent on dopaminergic activities. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about some of those signs, how addiction is a spectrum, and how you can get started to overcome your dopamine addiction. So, addiction is a spectrum. So, how dopamine sort of works is in our modern world, there's so many different things that can spike our dopamine. And if you don't know, dopamine is what has to do with our motivation and also our pleasure. And so when we have high dopamine, we feel good, we feel motivated. Now, the problem with these different addicting activities like scrolling social media, addictive food, different substances, these things spike our dopamine so much that our body compensates and we get this crash. And we get this crash below our regular baseline. So this is like our baseline dopamine. That's like what we have all the time. And so our body has this crash so that it can get back up to that baseline. So the problem with these different activities is when we have that crash, we feel terrible and we want to get back up there. And so we continue to try and spike our dopamine, but we never let it replenish. And so we continue crashing it, and our spikes give us less and less dopamine, and we find ourselves trapped at this now lower baseline level of dopamine, leaving us unmotivated to do different things. So that can kind of tell you what one of the first signs that you could be addicted to dopamine is, and that's not feeling motivated to do things that you tell yourself are important to you. And so you have these goals, but because your dopamine is so low, you just don't have the motivation to do them. And so, you can be anywhere on the spectrum. You could have a high level of baseline dopamine and kind of have a low level of addiction, or you could be somewhere in the middle and be somewhat dependent, lack some motivation, or you could be way down here, someone who has been engaging in these habits for years, and it's just very difficult to do anything except those things. So that's the first sign of the dopamine addiction would be low motivation. Another one would be lack of focus. When you try to engage in difficult tasks or focus for an extended period of time, it's very difficult, it's painful, you find it very boring, or you find yourself getting distracted easily, turning to your phone. That's another sign as well. If in small moments, brief pauses during the day, you find yourself pulling out your phone, just in those moments and just scrolling on social media every chance you get, that's a sign that you have this dopamine addiction, because during those pauses in the day, you start to feel that pain of low dopamine and you want to bring that dopamine back up. Now, I don't say this to judge anybody. I myself had dopamine addiction for a very long time. Addicted to video games, social media, different TV shows, junk food, all these things for years, crashing my baseline level of dopamine, and I did not have motivation to work out, to study, to do anything that would improve my life. So it's okay if you have these things, and there are steps you can take to make those changes. Now, before we talk about those steps you can take to overcome this dopamine addiction, two other signs that you could have dopamine addiction are you need a certain activity, whether it be a game, a TV show, social media, to feel happy or just okay. Because once you get down to this point, your activities aren't even making you feel like happy anymore because your dopamine is so low. But they make you feel okay. They make you feel better than how you are feeling. And so if you feel like you need a certain activity to feel okay, then that's a sign you probably are addicted. And going along with that, if you feel like you can enjoy simple activities like going for a walk without doing anything, no music, no podcast, just walking, or reading a book, if that's painful for you, then that could be another sign you're addicted to dopamine. And so, with all that being said, the key to overcoming this addiction, whether you are slightly addicted or very highly addicted like I was, is the same. And it's identifying what activities are spiking your dopamine and therefore crashing it unnaturally. And once you identify those, then you can create a plan. Okay, how do I get rid of these things? How do I replace them? And so I have different videos going more in depth about that. The quick summary is finding a way to replace that in a more healthy way. So, for example, with myself, I loved playing video games. I loved the sense of progress I got, but because it took such little effort, it spiked my dopamine unnaturally. As I found different ways to progress that took effort, things like exercising. For me, I loved learning about psychology. I became a missionary. These sorts of things helped me to increase my dopamine naturally in a way that didn't cause a crash. And so once you do that, what you'll want to do is try to start your day off with that and delay those instant gratification activities as much as possible during the day. You can start off small. If it's just a few minutes and that's all you can do, that's okay. Continue to delay, and over time, you'll be able to continually replace your old habits, and your baseline level of dopamine will start to replenish. You'll start to feel more motivated. You'll enjoy simple things again. You'll be able to focus for longer, and you'll find more enjoyment out of life. And so, if you want more detail about different steps to make those changes, check out my other videos. If you have any questions, comment down below. I read every comment. And if you want a detailed plan for your specific habit, then click the link in the description and I would be happy to chat with you. But see you in the next one.